Hello, I want to do a quick video on how to authenticate Chanel jewellery, in particular Chanel brooches. So I have just done a video on my 4 favourite Chanel brooches, and I was wearing the exact same top and the exact same background, but I'm not a pro, and I just suddenly thought, you know what, I'm going to do another video and I'm going to do it again about these Chanel brooches, but this time focusing more on the authenticity process. So I have 4 Chanel brooches here with me. They all come from different eras. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the packaging. If your Chanel brooch is like newer and you buy it online, maybe on eBay or something, and it says it comes in box, and you have never bought Chanel before and you want to know what that box is like, because remember, fakes do come in boxes, and they do have fake Chanel boxes with fake writing of fake inside, and I don't want anybody to go, oh, it must be real because it's in a box. Just as they fake the handbag authenticity cards, they also do fake the carrier bags and the boxes and the ribbon. It's a minefield, which is why you should always be very, very, very careful of where you buy your vintage Chanel. I have done a video about tips and tricks on buying vintage Chanel, just so you know. Feel free to have a look, or don't. So first of all, the box is here, so you can see the print, hopefully. It's got kind of a matte finish. It's not like a traditional cardboard. It's kind of almost like, I don't know, it's kind of softer. It's kind of got more of a, almost I don't know, like almost a moleskin finish to it, the box. It's nice quality. It's not got any kind of, like, the box doesn't say where it's from, like it doesn't say box made in France or box made in China. It's just a completely plain box, no recycling logo, which some of the handbag boxes have on. It literally just says Chanel, in very nice print. So on the inside, you get this little pouch, which I will hold up here. I don't know if you can see in the light, but it does have Chanel embossed in like a black print on black on black. So it's in this little kind of like moleskin-y velvet thing, which lifts up and opens like this, and then it's got this little taggy thing, if you can see, which sticks out, which I don't really know what that does, but anyway, so when you get the brooch, it will come in this little pouch, and the brooch will sit in it, and then it will unfold, and this just keeps it protected, keeps it from rattling around in transit, and also it means it doesn't scratch on anything. And it just means that when you get it, it won't be all fingerprinty, it won't be all bashed about, it will just be perfect. So that is the packaging. Just so you know. Oh, you can see it, you can see the Chanel in the light. So on the front, I've got this one, for instance. You can see, I don't know, it's got pearls, it's got crystals, it's pretty nice. And then I'm going to hold up this one, which again has pearls on it. They're all very evenly spaced. When you touch it, it's like, without wanting to sell like a wheeler dealer, it's got good weight. It's not light, it's not flimsy. It feels quite weighty. They're not made of like, they are costume, they're not made of like sterling silver or gold, but I think often the gold ones are gold dipped. But they're a very nice metal. They're obviously like rhodium or something. And then if you test the brooch back, it will never be stiff, but it will never be loose. Because if it's too loose, it will just kind of spin around and drop off. If it's too tight, it will be a nightmare to get on. It's kind of like the function on all of them, actually. It's kind of like they're movable easily, but then when it gets to the very end bit where it opens, there's a little bit more pressure. So it kind of like spins around easily, and then again, a little bit more pressure. Yeah, so you don't have to worry that it's going to drop off. And then most importantly, and this is going to be a nightmare to show you on this camera, But on the back, can you see behind the H, there is a little disc which is embossed into the metal, and it has a tiny, tiny, tiny like C logo in the middle. It says Chanel along the top, and it says, I think, made in Paris. I'm going to check another one to see if it's, oh yeah, so this one is marginally bigger. So it says Chanel across the top with copyright fees next to it. So can you see on this one? It's marginally bigger. You probably can't see the actual detailing, but it says Chanel across the top in a kind of like crescent, and then in the middle it's got the double C's, and it's got like A12V, whatever that means, and then going across the bottom it says made in France. And this one is a vintage one, and again, you might be able to see this one better. It says Chanel across the top, like going in a top crescent-y, that type thing. Can you see? It says Chanel across the top. It's got the interlocking C's with, again, a code, 94P. I think 94 is the year it came from, and then it's got made in France across the bottom. And then again, this one has Chanel across the top with the trademark C's, which this one also has. It always has the trademark C's, it always has the interlocking C's in the middle, and then again, made in France running along the bottom. So I hope that's of help. So yeah, you're basically looking for a top bit which says Chanel, copyright fees, interlocking C in the middle, and then made in France along the bottom. From what I can gather, most of the brooches are, yeah, this one also made in France. From what I can gather, all the jewellery does seem to be made in France. I know that some of the bags are made in Italy, some of them are even made in Spain. Some of the cashmere is made in Scotland, but I do think, from what I can gather, all the brooches are made in France. And that ranges from the vintage ones I have, which are from 1994 apparently, to this one, which is 2017. So yeah, do look for, do test the weight, do have a feel. The gold, even if it's old, because this is like 90s, it's still shiny gold. Like, it's still really like lustrous and shiny, because I think it's like gold plated, like gold dipped. So it's still gold, it's not worn away, it's not like silver at any of the edges, it still looks great. So look for just look for the quality. Like, if it looks a bit cheap, you can also smell it. Like, if it smells gross and tinny, that's often a sign. Am I breathing really loudly? If it smells gross and tinny, it's probably because it's made of a gross tinny metal, whereas this doesn't smell of anything, and that's a good sign. Like, if you think back to like cheap jewellery that you bought years ago, like the necklaces, for instance, will get that kind of weird gross metal smell. And like, even though this is like 20 years old, it doesn't have that weird gross metal smell because it's good quality metal. So do, like, if you're in public, you might not want to smell it, but like, you can smell it and it doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell like gross metal. But yeah, look out for that back plate, because every piece of Chanel jewellery, modern or vintage, will have this. Feel the weight. Like, is it weighty? Does it feel quality, substantial? I once got given, like, my friend gave me like this massive Dior brooch. It was obviously fake. It was bendy. Like, it was literally like you could bend the metal. It was really cool and really funny. But it was like this big giant Dior brooch, and it was literally bendy. It smelled gross. It smelled like bad metal. But yeah, you want to kind of have a feel, and like, does it feel flimsy? Does it feel malleable? Does it feel like quality metal? Does it look good quality metal? Does it feel like a good quality safety pin at the back? And can you see the little disc at the back? And if it has all of that, I would buy it. You know, I wouldn't spend £300 on it, because, to be honest, you could probably buy one in a shop for that. But if, you know, you're in like a vintage shop and it's like £30 and you've done all of these tests, buy it. You're buying such a good item. But yeah, that, or if you've bought it on eBay and you just want to check the authenticity, again, you can pay for an authenticity check, but you might have to pay quite a lot for it, because on such a small item, it's not like a handbag where it's like you know, I think they're about £100 to check a like £2 grand handbag kind of thing. Whereas like you might not want to spend an extra £100 on top of the price to send it away, get it checked, and then get it sent back to you. But yeah, that is what I would say about checking for authenticity on the brooches, and a lot of this information does translate to the necklaces as well. And I hope that was of help. Yeah, feel free to subscribe, press like and all those thumbs uppy things, and I hope that was of help. Thank you very much. Bye.